Today, we're diving into the incredible story behind the making of the world's longest written constitution. And trust me, this isn't just a story about law books. It's a story of a dream, born from decades of struggle and forged to shape the destiny of over 1 billion people. To really get what they were trying to do, you have to start right here. This quote from Nehru, wow, it just perfectly captures the enormous weight on their shoulders. They weren't just writing rules. They were trying to build a nation that could heal itself and actually deliver on the hopes of millions.
But here's the thing. This idea didn't just pop up overnight. The dream of a constitution written by Indians for Indians, that was a revolutionary thought. And it would take decades of pushing and pushing and pushing to finally make it happen.
Just look at this timeline. It really shows you how long the road was. You have early attempts like the Nehru Report way back in 1928, then the specific idea for a Constituent Assembly, a group of Indians to write their own future, gets floated in 34 and becomes an official demand a year later. But then it takes another 11 years for the British to finally say yes. This was not a gift, it was earned.
So they finally got the green light, but that just opened up the next giant question. Who? Who was actually going to sit down and write this thing? Who would be the architects of modern India? The elections in July 1946 pretty much laid it all out. As you can see, the Indian National Congress won a huge majority. But, and this is crucial, the Muslim League secured a really powerful block of 73 seats. So right away, you have this dynamic, a dominant Congress and a strong, determined Muslim League that would shape everything that came next.
Now, think about this. While the assembly is debating the future of the country, someone still has to run the country, right? Day to day? That's where the interim government came in. It was basically the first cabinet of a free India set up to steer the ship through this incredibly messy transition. And would you look at the names on this list? These are the giants of the independence movement. Now they're in charge. You've got Nehru handling foreign policy and the absolutely formidable Sardar Patel taking on home affairs. These leaders were literally juggling the crises of the present while trying to design the blueprint for the future. Just incredible. So, with the government up and running, the assembly could finally focus on its main event, the colossal, mind-boggling task of actually drafting the Constitution. So, how do you even start something that massive? Well, you don't just throw everyone in a room. They were smart about it. They broke the work down into smaller, manageable chunks, creating different committees for things like fundamental rights or federal powers. But out of all of them, one committee was the absolute linchpin. And that was the drafting committee, chaired by the brilliant Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. His role in this whole process cannot be overstated. He is rightly called the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. It was his job to take all these different ideas, weave them together, and then pilot that draft through the assembly, defending it clause by agonizing clause. 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days. Let that sink in for a second. This wasn't rushed. This was nearly 3 full years of nonstop debating, arguing, revising, and perfecting a document they hoped would last for centuries. So, after all that time, what did they actually create? Well, the final document was so much more than a set of laws. It was a vision, a roadmap for an entirely new kind of nation. And here's where it gets really clever. The Constitution is this unique hybrid. On one hand, it's got strong federal features, which give a lot of power to the states. But it also has powerful unitary features, which keep a strong center, especially during emergencies. It's this delicate balancing act that was their answer to a massive question. How do you unite a country with this much diversity into one strong nation? And all of that detail, all of that careful thought is why it holds this title. They wanted to be thorough. They tried to address every possible social and cultural complexity you could find in India, leaving as little to chance as they could. But it wasn't just a legal document. It was also a work of art. The assembly chose the elephant as its symbol for strength and wisdom. And get this, the original was not typed. It was handwritten in this gorgeous calligraphy by one man, Prem Bihari Narain Raizada. Then artists went through and decorated every single page. It's a national treasure. All right, that brings us to the final historic moments. The time when this brand new republic was officially born.
In its last session, the Assembly tied up all the loose ends. And on one single day, January 24th, 1950, they adopted the national anthem and song, and they elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the very first president of India. Then, 284 members put their signatures on that beautiful final manuscript. The job was done. And these are the two dates you've got to remember. It was adopted on November 26, 1949, but they deliberately waited to bring it into full force until January 26, 1950. Why? Because that date was the anniversary of the day freedom fighters first demanded complete independence, or Purna Swaraj, back in 1930. It was a powerful way of saying the dream is now real.
So that leaves us with this final thought. This document, crafted by a generation that had literally just won their freedom, was their best guess for the future. The real question for us today is how? How has this incredible document managed to endure and continue to guide the world's largest, most complicated democracy? That, right there, is its true legacy.